$3 million. The Clippers need to get younger in the offseason, but they signed a player who's 37 and another player who'll be 37 in December. Backup center Brook Lopez signed a 2-year deal with the Clippers for $18 million. Nicholas Batum re-signed with the Clippers for 2 years at $11.5 million. The WNBA is adding 3 new franchises: Detroit, Cleveland, and Philadelphia. The league will have 18 teams by 2030. Coco Gauff is back in action today for the first time since winning the French Open last month. The African-American star has a first-round match at Wimbledon against Diana Yastremska of Ukraine. Gauff is the number 2 seed at Wimbledon behind Arina Sabalenka of Belarus. Last year at Wimbledon, Gauff was eliminated in the round of 16. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
At the tone, please record your message.
You ready?
Drop it!
Mr. Tavis Smiley, preach it. Thank you, man. Politics in this country is crazy. You put things in perspective that even I didn't. The right is playing fast and loose with facts and scapegoating everyone under the sun, especially black and brown people. As a white man, I do not agree with this, and I am on my black and brown brothers and sisters' side. Fight the good fight. Know that I am part of the resistance. Let's fight the power.
Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
First things first.
Things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis.
First things first.
First things first. And my first thing today and every day, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders. And let's go. Let's get it started. I feel like we've been started. I feel like we're staying in motion as we bring you through West Africa. It's a tour of West Africa with African Focus Incorporated, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to bringing Africans and African Americans closer, spreading accurate information about the motherland, and doing service both in the United States and in Africa. And we're doing all of that on this trip. It's a team up, a collab between African Focus Incorporated, which is a nonprofit organization, and KBLA Talk 1580, where we'll spread the message of African Focus, the good information. We'll take you virtually on this trip through West Africa this year. We go to a different region, different countries every year. This year we're doing 3 West African nations. And if you tap in on social media, you'll be able to see pictures, some lives, different things from different spots, and it'll give you the visuals to go with this audio. And then I suggest you go find yourself a nice Nigerian restaurant, maybe some Benin food, which I've only had in Benin. I've never been to a Benin restaurant. I'm sure there's one in LA, or Ghanaian food they do have. And so you can get the full experience. You can find me at DiPrima Radio. It's DIPRIMA, and then radio. Miles is at Miles Low Music. And the station is at KBLA 1580. African Focus Presents is African Focus, but Mom, keep it real, they hardly ever post. And me and Miles do have some stuff up that will give you some amazing insight. I post a lot on stories because it's quick, but I'll be putting up more and more. I want to show you the visual for the Stilt City. I'm going to stop calling it a village. The Stilt City in Benin, which was incredible. I mean, to see 3-year-old children rowing their own canoes out there. Obviously, this is how they grew up. They grew up in houses where you launch from the house into the boat. We donated 9 canoes, which are all, painted with African Focus Incorporated, and some of the names of the Trailblazers who gave their money or raised money in order to help pay for these things. And these canoes are meant to get the children to school. Yep. If you live in a house on stilts in the water, you can't really walk to school.
Right. Take a little backstroke to the classroom.
A water taxi. And so we were able to donate those 9 canoes. Mm-hmm. They were blessed by a Catholic priest.
Yes.
I was stricken by the fact that we saw 3 or 4 churches in that town, just in the part where we were a Catholic church, an indigenous spiritual church, and a regular Christian kind of Pentecostal vibe.
How do you feel about that?
I thought it's very Africa. One of the things that I've seen, even though I know that in the north area of Nigeria, there's fighting between Muslims and Christians, and that some of the Muslim groups are aligned with Al-Qaeda and the radical Islamist terrorist groups. What I've seen in Senegal, Nigeria, and Benin, and Ghana is Christians and Muslims coexisting peacefully, not bothering each other, live and let live. And they know the indigenous religion is there. And it reminds me a little bit of Latin America, where you have the Catholic Church, but you still have the Latino version of the Vodun, which is Santeria. And many people actually practice both. They might go to Catholic church and then go get their herbs from the indigenous spiritualists.
Right. And I said it with Kenya last year. You really have to see it and it makes sense, but you have to really see it with your own eyes for 2 weeks straight to really understand it. If you're in America right now, there is nothing but dark, black people everywhere, except that one white face that is everywhere you turn. It's at that church. A church puts itself into every situation, everywhere. So I'm not gonna lie. I would say I felt an offense by it, because I understand it. But that's just the wild thing to me, is that we still see. Yeah, I'm not against Jesus, not against the teachings of Jesus, but we see that Caucasian face of Jesus.
I mean, the missionaries were part of the colonization of every indigenous people. And the thing about it is, that's why I love the coexistence. For the compromise, I guess, even though many of the Christians do sort of look down, or they're ashamed of the indigenous spirituality, in certain situations, if they need something, they're going to go right back to the root. They're going to go get that herbal remedy. They're going to go get that reading. They're going to go turn to the indigenous and think nothing of it, even if they don't tell you. I will say that when we went, and you'll see, because we're going, I think, day after tomorrow, or maybe it's tomorrow, we're going to the slave dungeons. That's where you do feel away, because you can see the churches, you can see the crosses from the dungeons. And I think I shared the story that the first year we went, a fight broke out among our travelers because they were so angry that the church was literally overlooking the enslavement of our people.
That's how I felt in Zanzibar when we saw the church in Stonetown, that is the only build that in the gift shop that is still paying the church, and they still have service every Sunday. And it's just, like I said, it's less of an offense, but it's definitely I noticed something. I see something I don't see in here, and that's that face.
Yeah, and I think for us, for me at least, that's the importance of the liberation theology.
Right.
You know, the Martin Luther Kings, the Reverend Barbers of the world, who flip that colonizing piece of the faith, because as you've noted, it's not the theology, it's not the philosophy, it's the fact the Bible and the church, the faith, was used to justify our enslavement, justify our dehumanization. And it was part of this kind of the tip of the spear for the taking of our land and our culture. So I think that's why it's so important to see these mostly Black and some Latino priests, preachers, and practitioners who are blackening and browning and bringing in social justice to the church. I think about people like Pastor Q,
right?
You know, and how they're sort of healing that legacy of the church.
Right.
Yeah.
Am I wrong for having that be such a noticeable imprint in my mind that I kind of like tune my nose up at when I see?
I think anyone who reads history knows that or feels that, or they're in denial about it. So I don't think you're wrong. I think you're right to separate the faith from the colonization, the spirituality from the political side.
Here's the part about it's the fact that these are the most, like you said, it's a slave dungeon. These are some of the most poverty-stricken places that we're seeing these churches at. These along these in these markets along the streets on the way from Nigeria to Benin that have the white Jesus face I don't know. I don't want to make too much of a point of it.
And then the church buildings are probably the fanciest buildings, the most resourced. But I'll say this: it's one of the reasons why churches everywhere are going to have to deal with reparations.
Come on, somebody.
How about that?
Right.
We're broadcasting from West Africa, and we're taking you with us. That's Miles Lowe. I'm Dominique DiPrima, and this is KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Yeah. At KBLA Talk 1580, we're proud to be celebrating 4 years on the air, but we know we could not have made it this far without you. We work hard every single day to curate conversations that will enlighten, encourage, and empower you. So, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time, whenever news breaks, while we're on the air. It's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580, and we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. Thank you.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Charmin Ultra Strong. You can use less, better than the rest. Charmin Ultra Strong. Your booty past the clean test. Salmon weave texture, it's the best. Study up, teach a lesson on fresh. Your booty past the clean test. Yes, sir. Charmin Ultra Strong.
Charmin Ultra Strong with diamond weave texture cleans better than the leading one-ply brand, so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Febreze.
Fabric Talk. Hello, my love. I am your living room carpet. I see everything. I feel everything. After a while, I smell like everything, including Sir Pickles, who you snuggle with while binging that dating show you can't stop watching. So, how about we freshen things up with Febreze Fabric Spray? Oh, and a big spray for my pals, couch and ottoman. Ah, yes, refreshing. Breathe happy, Febreze. La 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 la.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima, taking you to the motherland with African Focus Incorporated and KBLA Talk 1580. Let's get some reflections from the Trailblazers. So much to see, so much to do, so much to process. And I'm so thankful that you're doing it with us. KBLA Talk 1580. Miss Gail, how are you today?
Great.
What an adventure we're on. I keep saying it. We're doing 3 countries, and we are broadcasting from West Africa. We have been spending time in Benin. Talk to me, and I know you're an historian. You have your own museum collection of mostly African American and some African art and artifacts. So tell me what you have seen in Benin that might apply to the work that you do.
I am following my DNA route, and so that's kind of driving the adventure to Nigeria, to Benin, as well as Ghana. The other main one is Cameroon. So all of those, in addition to having the historical background for the memorabilia, the AMCAC, that's my online museum, for AMCAC in terms of our history, and that's our focus, is to make sure that we follow truth. And the best way to do that is to actually go there. And so my family and I, there's 7 cousins of us, mini group, we're following those DNA tracks and being able to see Benin, which is certain percentages of those numbers. It's almost like a healing to be able to say, hey, I'm getting closer. I don't know exactly where my ancestors are, but I know that they came from here. And so it's kind of heartfelt to see the people and have a closer understanding of what our ancestors actually lived through.
When we went to visit the king at the Voudon compound in Benin, they specifically recognized those of you in our group that have traced their heritage to Benin through DNA.
Yes.
How did you receive what the king said to you?
I mean, that was part of the whole emotional thing. It's like, I can't believe that, we're here, we're this close, and very much interested in what he has what his suggestions are in terms of helping us find a closer connection to relatives.
It seemed like he was really welcoming of specifically you guys, the ones, whose bloodline went to Benin. I mean,
Yeah.
did any of his words really land for you?
The fact that he called us his children, that the children were welcome home. And I know through the culture, the children are very important. And I think in terms of my drive with the memorabilia, again, it's about sharing truth and that education, and it's got to come through our kids. For us to see a difference now and where we're going to be in the future has to come from them. The whole mindset, the whole understanding, better understanding of the truth is going to be important.
It's funny because you say you follow the truth, and I've been to your memorabilia spot, and wow, some of those truths are pretty harsh and kind of jarring, and some of them are proud and heartwarming, and you have them all together there. What started you on that quest?
My background, my 8 to 5, my professional career was in human resources. And within human resources, I did investigations on discrimination. And I started this thing about, for management, trying to prevent any mistreatment of people because of their race or whatever. And went to South Africa. And in South Africa, it was just totally opposite of what I was doing in the U.S. They had advertisement, they wanted a manager, and that manager had to be white, or that manager had to be colored or whatever. And I just had a drive for going to different parts of Africa to see exactly what that culture was like and how they lived. And from there, I just started collecting. I've been collecting almost 40 years, just memorabilia, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, because you have a lot of stuff from the U.S. too.
Yeah.
Woo, some of it. Well, and while we're on that topic, how can people see you? How can they see your collection?
Right now, AMCAC, AAMMCAC, the African American Memorabilia Museum and Arts. So the AMCAC.com, you can see the online museum on that.
Okay, we're back to Benin now, people. Crossing into Benin was a whole adventure. That took forever and a day. I guess we were having our empathy moment with all of the people subjected to ICE raids and everything that's going on back home in the United States. But once we got in, one of the first things we did was go to a python temple. What was your impression of that?
Adventurous. I'll try anything once. So it was more of an education just to see what it is, understanding and traveling to other countries. Snakes are not what we see them as, with the fear and all of that. I mean, they actually honor them. So quite interesting.
Did you put the python around your neck?
No, I did not put
I didn't either. I say it's a snake, not a necklace. But Miles did. I think, though, that it was almost like they saw the snake as divine. They had a lot of those pythons inside the temple, and then they brought the one out that people were trying on. And a lot of our travelers did do that.
Oh, yes, several. And in other places, I mean, it's like a mysterious kind of thing to the music, and they come up like they're trained or something. And so it's like people worship different things, and that's how it's like, okay, we worship snakes, we worship cows, and
it was interesting. I think we've been challenging our own assumptions in many ways this whole trip.
Yes.
And then, of course, the king, when we went to your new father, your new royal father, the king's compound, they were doing the traditional Vodun drumming and singing, and the Vodun ceremony, the ancestor ceremony. What did you make of that?
Again, it's all new, and so you're infatuated, and you want to really see and try to better understand, because you're coming in with a westernized judgment of what we're calling it voodoo, and it's really not what we've kind of been led to believe. And so for me, again, it's about learning.
Yeah.
It's like just really seeing what that truth is really about. Left with a lot of questions.
Yeah, and we got to ask a few questions of the king at the end, which was pretty cool. Was it Marla? I think it was Marla who asked, what about your religion? Tell us about your religion. And I love the king's answer because he said, Vodone is everything. Vodone is the water you drink, the air you breathe. He was basically saying it's life. You know, it's like God is life, the way they see it. God is life.
Yeah.
And that was really, I thought, an interesting answer.
Yes, I agree. And with me, it just builds the curiosity, because now I will go and research to find out, you know, what others have to say about it. Not, you know.
And what did you like, or what have you liked so far between Nigeria, Benin? You know, we still have Ghana to go. What has captivated you?
The most interesting part for me is the children, and going to the school and just hearing the responses of the students that give like the thank you for us coming, their energy, their hyperness. It was really heartfelt, especially one of the little girls, I think at the second school. It's like she had memorized this whole thing. And it was just really impressive.
Yeah, they're very sweet, and they're very overwhelmed by us, I think.
Yes. Yeah. I thought that it was a sincere appreciation, I felt. And through my travels, I always try to bring a lot of stuff, whatever I can get donated, whether it's clothes, whether it's books. And so I knew that would be appreciated, and it was overwhelmingly appreciated.
So whenever you go, you give
and bring stuff.
Yeah, that's what we do with African Focus and KBLA also. 2 suitcases, bring one full of your stuff and one full of donations.
Yep.
And somehow that empty suitcase always seems to get filled with souvenirs and goods, things we find along the way.
Yes. I found this time, may not be possible yet, but that walk that we did to the slave walk, the trail or whatever, I found an art piece, a sculpture with that walk of about 10 slaves with the chains, and it was just beautiful.
Wow.
Couldn't afford it, but you know, so we're negotiating stuff. And then in Benin, I found the individuals' slave statues, not mounted on the piece that I wanted, but so that was like, okay, do I go there, try to put all of the individual pieces in the suitcases or not? And couldn't get the right price.
Yeah, you're talking about the walk we did in Nigeria to trace the footsteps of our ancestors, the path they took when they were launched onto those slave ships.
Yes.
It was an emotional day for everyone, and of course that should be and probably will be in your museum or in your collection.
If I can get my hands on it, it's definitely going to be there. Yes.
Well, Ms. Gail, thank you so much for traveling with us, and thank you for stopping to talk.
Thank you for the invite, both ways. Okay.
All right.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The Trump administration is suing Los Angeles, claiming its sanctuary city policies obstruct immigration enforcement and fuel violence. The lawsuit also names the city council and Black Mayor Karen Bass, who's been openly critical of ICE raids in the city.
Why do you have these young people here who have to miss work, miss school, leave their families, and they're here for no reason? Why are we doing this to them?
The administration is accusing them of violating federal law and creating chaos. Shantira Young, the Black Baltimore daycare owner who shot her ex-husband after learning he abused children at her daycare, is out of prison and in a halfway house. She testified against James Weems, who was sentenced to life in prison for child sex abuse. And HGTV has canceled Married to Real Estate after 4 seasons. Hosts, Black married couple Mike Jackson and Egypt Sherrod, thanked fans and said they're excited for what's next. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Rapid radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off, free UPS shipping, and add code radio for an extra 5% off.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
NBA free agency tipped off on Monday. The Lakers lost a key player. Forward Dorian Finney-Smith signed with Houston, 4 years at $53 million. The Clippers need to get younger in the offseason, but they signed a player who's 37 and another player who'll be 37 in December. Backup center Brook Lopez signed a 2-year deal with the Clippers for $18 million. Nicholas Batum re-signed with the Clippers for 2 years at $11.5 million. The WNBA is adding 3 new franchises, Detroit, Cleveland, and Philadelphia. The league will have 18 teams by 2030. Coco Gauff is back in action today for the first time since winning the French Open last month. The African-American star has a first-round match at Wimbledon against Diana Yastremska of Ukraine. Gauff is the number 2 seed at Wimbledon behind Arina Sabalenka of Belarus. Last year at Wimbledon, Gauff was eliminated in the round of 16. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
At the tone, please record your message.
You ready? Drop it! Mr. Tavis Smiley, preach it. Thank you, man. Politics in this country is crazy. You put things in perspective that even I didn't. The right is playing fast and loose with facts and scapegoating everyone under the sun, especially black and brown people. As a white man, I do not agree with this, and I am on my black and brown brothers and sisters' side. Fight the good fight. Know that I am part of the resistance. Let's fight the power.
Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project. Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Hey, man. Hey, what's up, What's the station you listening to? Oh, man, you don't know? That's Talk Radio. KBLA, 1580 AM. Check it out. 1580 KBLA AM. 1580 Talk Radio. Progressive.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're celebrating our 4th anniversary, and this track right here is the gift one of our devoted listeners presented to us.
Where you get some information, get a true education. Just to know, ooh, yeah. 1580.
How cool is that? Having a member of our KBLA delegation write us a song. Stop it! Our listeners love us and there ain't nothing we can do about it. Wouldn't want to. Thanks to Cardell and everybody else for turning on KBLA Talk 1580. We love you right black.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm here with Diane, who is on her second trip with us to the motherland. It's great to see you.
Great to see you too, Dominique. Happy to be here again.
Happy to have you here with your husband. You guys, you said 40 years into your relationship, your marriage?
That's right. 40 wonderful years. That's
yes,
right.
Relationship goals. I love that so much. Tell me, so far, how's it going?
The trip with Africa here in the motherland, it's been going great so far. I've experienced a lot of things, seen a lot of things that I would have never seen before if I had, taken this trip. For instance, we went to Gandhi, I believe.
Yes.
And we went to
the Village on Stilts.
Village on Stilts, yes.
But it was really a city on stilts. It wasn't really a village.
Yes. And that was very eye-opening to me because I didn't even know anything like that existed before.
Yeah, and my understanding is that village came into being because people were trying to get away from slavers. Right. So they went way out into the water and they built their houses up on stilts so they'd be harder to find.
Yeah.
That was pretty amazing.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah. And the way they have a sense of community, that's something that can be, commendable because I wish we had more of that sense of community where we are today. We have it to some degree, but the way that they have it, it's just like working together and just, making things happen for themselves.
You and your husband are both conscious. You're both activists, I would say, Afrocentric, I would say. For someone who's had that mindset, how does it change it, or what dimension does it add to actually come here?
It changes it a lot because it lets us get more into, what's going on, as opposed to just being in our own little world. You know what I mean?
I do, because I feel like I've studied Africa all my life, and but coming here, it also grounded me in it being a reality more than just my idea of it.
Right.
Yeah. So, how did you guys enjoy Kenya? How did you guys unpack that, process it as a couple?
Yeah, so that was our first trip, and that was amazing as well, because that was our first trip out of the United States. So we were looking forward to it. Steve had wanted to go to the motherland since 1976. Wow. So he finally got to go, right, last year. And we had both, because I would tease him, I would say, oh, once you get there, you're going to just break down and cry. You'll kiss the ground. But it was me that was crying after I went and saw the kids at the schools, because they just touched my heart so much, because I'm an educator. And it's just unbelievable how they just show so much love to you when you come, and they're so appreciative of everything that you do. And the same thing that happened here when we went to the schools. It was the same thing. They're just so appreciative. Yeah.
I always say that their children are probably more like how our children would be if they didn't have 12 generations of enslavement in their DNA. Right. Because they're so joyous, right?
Right, yeah.
And they don't have much.
But you couldn't tell it because, physically you could, but in their hearts and spirit, you can't. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I absolutely know what you mean, because they have joy in their eyes, they're playing, they're smiling, they're waving at you.
Right.
I remember when I brought my son in 2016, he was a little kid, and he told me, Mama, the kids here are so nice. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to handle it. That's just not how we roll, right? And no books. They have almost no books, almost no teaching materials. Right. What did you take away from that as an educator?
I just don't, it's just unbelievable how they get it done. My heart went out to them, and I'm so glad African Focus is here providing whatever we can provide to them. But as an educator, it's just amazing how they get things done.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing.
What stands out in your mind from Benin? We talked about the city on stilts, which is 50,000 people, so I'm going to stop calling it a village. But we also went to the Vodon compound. We met with the Vodon priests. They were dancing. We went to the Python. I guess you'd call it a temple.
Yeah.
And we drove through the country. It's 13 million people in Benin, which is approximately the size of LA.
Yeah. Benin. I'm trying to get my bearings straight. Benin wasn't in the.
Benin was all the French-speaking country. When we crossed the border from Lagos and went out, it was, I mean, for me, it was just amazing how different it was from Nigeria, right?
Right.
We're in the hustle and bustle of Lagos, and then boom, all of a sudden we're in the quiet. How do you find the people? We were in East Africa last time. We were in Kenya. We went to Zanzibar. Now we're in West Africa, which is probably where a lot of our ancestors are from.
Yeah.
But it's got a very different energy.
Yeah. It seems like Kenya, they were a little bit more laid back, you know, a little bit more calmer. But then when we got to Nigeria, it's a little bit more fast paced. Yeah. And then Benin seems like they were a little bit more laid back too.
Yeah, it was more country kind of.
Yeah.
I've been getting this question on Facebook, and I really don't know how to answer it. People are asking me about the food.
The food is, they eat a lot of rice, you know.
Yeah, a lot of carbs.
Yeah, and seems like it has like a lot of Indian flavors in it, you know, like the curry and stuff like that. It just depends on your palate, I guess.
Yeah.
But the food is good, but it just depends on your palate and what you like.
I mean, there's things we recognize, and I think a lot of things that we don't recognize. Yeah. So when you and your husband, when you guys, you know, talk about this, what has it added to you guys together as a long-time happy couple?
Still, still just togetherness, you know, just love and more togetherness, you know, because you never know what each day might bring. So just try to love each other as much as you can when you see some of the things that are going on, you know. So yeah.
And what made you guys decide to come again? He was trying to go since 1976, and now you go 2 years in a row.
Yeah. Well, we enjoyed the first trip, so we said, why not? It's a great group that you go with. They're like family, so let's keep it moving. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, I'm so glad that you did, and thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming, and thank you for talking with me.
Okay. You're welcome. Nice seeing you, Dominique.
Yes, absolutely.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
JP Morgan Chase offers tips for the local business owners in 2025. Small business landscape is ever-changing, and the Los Angeles market is no exception. A startup or legacy business, revisiting your mission statement and recalibrating offerings can renew opportunities for growth and innovations. Programs like Chase for Business Coaching for Impact gives entrepreneurs access to expert guidance, helping you streamline operations, strategize your growth, and navigate complex challenges. Businesses with a clear sense of purpose can navigate any challenge effectively, but also build stronger customer loyalty. Visit chase.com/coaching for impact for more information. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom? She started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Are you wet shaving? You'll get razor bumps. Nah, Pops, I'm good with Gillette Skin Guard. How long you been growing that beard Mama hates anyway?
Since 77. I shaved and got ingrown so bad.
That's why I use the Gillette Skin Guard razor, face scrub, shave gel, and moisturizer, so I don't have to worry about new razor bumps or shaving irritation.
Gillette Skin Guard, huh? Your mama's gonna love this one.
The best a man can get keeps getting better with Gillette Skin Guard. Buy now at a retailer near you.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about. KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a Black and Brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach, transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal, prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth.
Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome. We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
We are truly on an adventure. Nigeria, Benin, Ghana, 3 countries, 52 travelers. Yeah. It's a whole production. And I think, Miss Karen, I think this is your first time traveling with us.
Yeah, it is first time traveling with you.
Yeah. So thank you for coming along.
Yeah, and thank you. This has really been something.
Who talked you into this?
Well, Phyllis did, because she's the one that told me, because I've known her since we were in junior high school.
Oh, wow.
And so she told me she was going on, and I knew she went on the first one, South Africa, and then she went on the West Coast of Africa. And I had told her a long time, if they go to Nigeria and Ghana, I want to go, or Ghana. And she said, they're going to Nigeria, Ghana, and Benin. And I was like, all right, I want to go.
So what did you think of Benin? I feel like Benin is one of those places that not a lot of people really go to.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. My son is up in Burkina Faso.
Ah.
And he's been to Benin before.
He's living in Burkina Faso?
Yeah. Part of the time he lives there. He was living there full time, and now he's part of the time living there. And he'd been there before. So I had wanted to go before to that. Yeah.
I'd love to connect with him sometime and find out his impressions of Burkina Faso, because so much is going on there. So talk to me. Let's walk a little bit through what we've been seeing. We've been seeing some amazing things in Benin. The city on stilts. We took a boat and we saw. I was expecting a tiny little village with a few houses, and it turns out to be a city of 50,000. What were your impressions? The city on stilts.
It's just so crowded. Everything is so crowded. I was wondering if people live further away from the water and everything, and if it's not as crowded as that, or even here it's crowded.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in West Africa. Between Nigeria and Benin so far, what has captivated you?
Oh, all of it, really. I think it's all interesting. And I wanted to go to Benin because he'd been to Benin before, and people he worked with had been to Benin before. And then I always wanted to go to Nigeria, 27% Nigerian. And,
you did your DNA.
Yeah. And I always wanted to go there. And so I was like...
So are you taking it in as like a history book, or is it hitting you more personally?
I think both things. Yeah, I think both things.
Yeah. What has surprised you? Has anything surprised you on this trip?
No, because I spent a lot of time in Burkina Faso. If I hadn't been there, I might have said, but no. So I'm used to.
So you're used to Africa and the unpredictability of it, right?
Yeah.
I think for some Westerners it's hard because they're expecting everything to be like it is in New York or LA, but this is Africa.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it didn't surprise me. I was. It's nice. I mean, it's in better shape than the other country, Burkina Faso. Actually,
really,
yeah. Burkina Faso is also run by France too.
Isn't it weird?
But they revolted against
right.
That
That's why I want to talk to your son and see what he thinks. I mean, they're doing amazing things under Ibrahim Traoré and the way that the country is trying to transform itself.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's amazing how we cross the border from Nigeria into Benin and suddenly you go from English to French.
Mm-hmm.
The fingerprints of the colonizers
well, I was familiar with that, so that was it, because whenever I go to Burkina Faso, everybody's speaking French, and then also the languages, their language, their domestic languages too, and so I'm used to that. Not being only talk to a few people that I've met.
I know. I got to do better. I got to learn French.
Yes, lucky
and Arabic and Chinese and Yoruba. And Mandinka, it's most of the African people that we meet speak between 3 and 5 languages. Anyway, so how do you find the food? Some people have been asking me what we're eating, and this trip, I feel like we've been. You always have Western options. We always have like omelets or whatever, but we have more of like real indigenous West African food.
Well, I like some of it. I'm not into the fish.
You don't like fish?
I'm not. Well, I'm just.
Or not the way they do fish, which is really, they do like salt fish and the smoked fish.
But I tell you what, again, I lost 30 pounds. And so, which was a good thing. But, so, here where there's more that you can eat,
Yeah, I mean, I like to experiment and taste the different foods, but like that, whatever that was, okra with some spinach and greens in it, I couldn't do it. But there's a lot of really, stuff that harkens back to home. I mean, they do greens, they do oxtails, they do okra. They love okra.
Yeah, there were some things that I really liked. Yeah, and we'll see some things shortly.
Yeah, we're headed to Ghana, so we're sure to see some things. What would you tell other people who, like you, have been saying, "Oh, I got to get to Ghana. I got to get to Nigeria. I got to get to." We promise ourselves we're going to come to Africa, and we don't do it. What would you tell those folks who have been putting it off?
Oh, don't miss out. Don't miss out. How could they miss out? I mean, especially when your ancestors were from here and taken as slaves, and how could you miss out on that?
Yeah.
So.
Well, I kind of think we've been brainwashed to miss out.
Really?
The people are scared to come. They think they're going to get sick. People always ask me, how many shots do you need to take?
Oh no!
Just yellow fever, and you're really supposed to take that to go to Mexico, but people don't do it. You know what I mean? That we have all these ideas. I'm going to get robbed. I'm going to get.
Yeah, no, I just find it fascinating. So these were the places I really wanted to go.
Well, I'm glad you've come.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm glad you've come, and thank you for stopping to talk.
Yes. Okay.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The Trump administration is suing Los Angeles, claiming its sanctuary city policies obstruct immigration enforcement and fuel violence. The lawsuit also names the city council and Black Mayor Karen Bass, who's been openly critical of ICE raids in the city.
Why do you have these young people here who have to miss work, miss school, leave their families, and they're here for no reason? Why are we doing this to them?
The administration is accusing them of violating federal law and creating chaos. Shantira Young, the Black Baltimore daycare owner who shot her ex-husband after learning he abused children at her daycare, is out of prison and in a halfway house. She testified against James Weems, who was sentenced to life in prison for child sex abuse. And HGTV has canceled Married to Real Estate after 4 seasons. Hosts, Black married couple Mike Jackson and Egypt Sherrod, thanked fans and said they're excited for what's next. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Rapid radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
NBA free agency tipped off on Monday. The Lakers lost a key player. Forward Dorian Finney-Smith signed with Houston, 4 years at $53 million. The Clippers need to get younger in the offseason, but they signed a player who's 37 and another player who'll be 37 in December. Backup center Brook Lopez signed a 2-year deal with the Clippers for $18 million. Nicholas Batum re-signed with the Clippers for 2 years at $11.5 million. The WNBA is adding 3 new franchises, Detroit, Cleveland, and Philadelphia. The league will have 18 teams by 2030. Coco Gauff is back in action today for the first time since winning the French Open last month. The African-American star has a first-round match at Wimbledon against Diana Yastremska of Ukraine. Gauff is the number 2 seed at Wimbledon behind Arina Sabalenka of Belarus. Last year at Wimbledon, Gauff was eliminated in the round of 16. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader. KBLA Talk 1580. Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcasts of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader. Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.